This press conference with a thank you to John Fox.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
You're listening to Rochester, Indiana's #1 podcast, Tan and J-Man Show, featuring Josh Munt, Tanner Lee.
You're listening to episode 81 of the Tan and J-Man Show, and the J-Man is back.
He's back.
He's back.
So that means ratings are going down.
Ratings are going way down, and we are joined by our good friend and sponsor, the J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week, Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Travis Wottring. Thanks for joining, Trav.
And the ratings just went down even more, so I'm sorry.
What an intro, J-Man. Good job. Welcome back.
I appreciate that. I don't know if I necessarily happy I'm back, but I am back. I'm just kind of here.
Where were you?
I was in Seattle, Washington.
Seattle.
The rainy city.
The rainy city that did not rain once while we were there.
Did you get some sleep?
I got a ton of sleep.
So you weren't sleepless in Seattle?
I was not sleepless in Seattle. That was a good one. I didn't know where you were going with that, but I did get quite a bit of sleep, and now I'm quite jet lagged because I probably didn't fall asleep till 2 o'clock last night.
Hope you brought some birdie bogey with you from the Pacific Coast.
Did I ever?
His eyes just lit up like a deer in headlights.
I'm glad you said something, or we would not be having birdie bogey on this podcast tonight because I forgot about it.
I listen to this podcast every week, usually Monday, no, usually Tuesday, I'll be honest. You always forget birdie bogey.
I do.
It's the same thing. Thank God Tanner brought it up, or we would not have it this week.
So, LeBron James, in Game 1, notched his 8th, 40th game of this postseason. Who did he tie for the most in a single postseason in NBA history?
I'm glad I got all podcasts to think about this. Tough one.
Names are coming to mind, but it's going to be a pure guess.
This guy has played within the last 100 years.
Within the last 100, okay.
Last 100
right.
years.
That narrows it down to everybody else going to guess.
Well, before we can get right into some baseball talk, we just got done with a pretty good interview. Trav, why don't you tell everybody about who we just interviewed?
Yeah, we had the opportunity to bring on Jason Sobel. He is a senior golf writer for the Sports Action Network. Jason was with ESPN for about, I think, 7 years or so, and then got the invitation to switch switch teams and joins the Sport Action Network, and had the opportunity to bring him on here. I think we had about a 20-30 minute interview with him, and I've known Jason for probably about a year now. He is, my uncle is a financial advisor for Edward Jones down in Florida, and he is a client of my uncle, and they both golf at the West Orange Country Club down in Florida. So that's how I know Jason, through my uncle, and he's just a great guy. When the major was coming up, I asked you guys, hey, if I could get Jason Sobel to join a podcast, what would your thoughts be? And Tanner was excited, and Josh said who, I think. So, but that's who Jason is, senior golf writer. You might have seen him all over ESPN, but now he's on the Sports Action Network, and that's a gambling website, but he still writes golf and still has the best job ever, I believe.
We had a lot of U.S. Open talk.
I was going to cut you off there, Tanner.
A lot of U.S. Open talk, so look for that interview to be up by this weekend.
He was on the Golick and Wingo show this morning and then decided to go small time and join the...
Small time? What are you talking about? He did small time this morning. He's doing big time now. He's doing big time now.
When I was texting him last night and he confirmed, he goes, yeah, hey, by the way, I got Wingo and Golnick in the morning and then you guys in the evening. And it just literally made me laugh out loud how he's going from ESPN to Rochester, Indiana podcast. Indiana. But it's Rochester, Indiana's #1 podcast.
I think we can set up an eating contest between Golick and J-Man through Sobel somehow.
Golick happened to lose a bunch of weight here lately.
I think you can get him.
I think I'd be able to get him. When I was in Seattle, I walked about 30 miles, but every calorie I burned off, I ate it that night. So I think my stomach is primed for an eating contest.
But you still got the beard. You still got the beard.
Yeah, you guys want to hear something awesome? I told you this earlier, but I'm going to tell everyone else. My beard is so full right now that I literally, when I was at the hotel, used the blow dryer to dry my beard.
I don't know if that deserves a round of applause or just get the hell out of this room or what.
If the parents are listening right now, they know what to get you for your birthday or Christmas, whatever.
Blow dry.
Well, he can't use it on top of his head, so he's got to use it somewhere.
Speaking of LeBron James.
I'll go get down.
All right, Josh, you got your Cubs shirt on.
I do have my Cubs shirt.
We didn't really have a Cubs report last week without you, so hit us up with the Cubs report.
I'm sure you guys missed my Cubs report last week. I'm sure Connor did a great job.
I almost changed the name to the Tan and Con Show.
You know what? You should have. The show's a lot better without me, but I am glad to be back and talk some red-hot Chicago Cubs. You know, last week, if I was doing the Cub report, I'd probably be feeling just about them because they came off a 2-3 homestand against the Indians and Giants and just didn't feel like they were playing really well. Go on the road in two places they really don't play well at all, in Pittsburgh and in New York for a 7-game road trip, and they won 6 of those 7 games. They now all of a sudden are leading the National League in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, runs scored per game, and earned run average. So after all this, man, they just aren't playing very well. They're now leading the National League in all those categories. They're playing like the best team in the National League right now, which I think they are. The White Sox actually have helped the Cubs over the weekend by taking 2 of 3 from the Brew Crew, but the Cubs are 2 games out now. They're getting really good contributions from Anthony Rizzo. He's finally turned it on. You knew it was just a matter of time. Travis's favorite player, Javier Baez, you probably knew that was coming. His absolute favorite player in all of baseball continues to help the Cubs win games. Yesterday, they were in a really tough 0-0 matchup. Cubs were without Rizzo and Bryant, and Zobrist didn't start. Just after a 14-inning game, just kind of give them some rest. So they needed some spark from the offense, and so Javi Baez leads off the 7th in a 0-0 tie with a single. Wilson Contreras bloops in a single, so now you have first and third, nobody out. Javi motions over to Wilson to get a big lead and tried to, force what's it called when they try to pick the guy off? Pick off attempt.
Pick the guy off.
It's the jet lag talking. Because Steven Matz has a really slow pickoff move, and Javi saw that and he took off for home and stole home. It was his 4th steal of home in his career, including the playoffs. He's just a fun player to watch. I'm sure Travis agrees with that.
He is fun to watch, and he is good, and he's super talented.
I get why opposing fans hate him.
He's
because I would hate him if he was with the Reds or Cardinals or something.
I think it was the fact that he struck out a lot last year.
He still strikes out.
He still strikes out a lot, but he's doing stuff now. It's hard. Yeah, I hate him. I hate the Cubs. I hate Baez, but they're good. He's good. He's swaggy. He's cocky, but it's not that bad if you can back it up, and Baez is backing it up right now and leading the Cubs to whatever 33 wins so far in the year.
23, yeah. So now they get to come home and face the Phillies for 3 and then the Pirates for 3. Jake Arrieta, unfortunately, will not pitch for the Phillies, but it'll be good to have him back. And he really called out his team yesterday. Did you guys see what he said?
No.
They played in San Francisco over the weekend, scored 1 run in the 27 innings they played, and it was a Jake Arrieta solo homer yesterday that they scored. He said, "We're playing like horse shit," is what he said. They shift a bunch, and he said, "Our shifts do not work. We need accountability from top to bottom," really kind of calling out management and the front office and all that, which I don't know how well that ever really works when somebody does that, but you hope it doesn't spark them heading into this series. Yu Darvish was placed on the DL last weekend, and Mike Montgomery has slid into the rotation and has thrown 11 2/3 innings and only given up 1 earned run. He's been kind of a godsend because Tyler Chatwood continues to not pitch great. John Lester's looking like his old self of 2016 when he finished 2nd in the Cy Young voting. He's pitching great. Kyle Hendricks is pitching really well. Jose Quintana's starting to pitch well. They're hitting really well right now, and you just kind of hope they can keep it going, at least in my eyes. I hope they can keep it going.
I was cheering for them to beat the Mets.
The Mets right now, the Cubs really did catch them at a good time because they're without Cespedes and Todd Frazier, and they just look like a Little League team. Some of the stuff they did on the baseball field, they kind of look like the Reds out there. I don't know.
Time to call up Timmy.
Oh, time to call up Timmy. I was wondering what that gesture is for. Timmy would make things far worse than they are right now. So,
You're probably right.
speaking of the Reds, I'm sure you'll be singing a little bit of a different tune about your team. Give us your 15-second Reds report, as you said it would be.
15 seconds is actually a little too long. There's not much to say. They're 21 and 39.
They have more wins than I thought they did, to be honest.
They do have a little more. They have more wins than Miami, and they have more wins than Chicago.
The Baltimore Orioles.
And the Orioles. So maybe they're not the worst team in baseball, but
They're up there.
They're up there, and it's been like this for a couple of years, and it's going to be like this for a couple of years. We were kind of talking about it off air, and they have a couple of prospects. They have the number 5 draft pick tonight, but I don't know. It's depressing. I don't have much to say. I love baseball. I love Cincinnati. Out of all my sports teams, the Cincinnati Reds are probably my favorite sports team, which makes it even more depressing because there's nothing to cheer for, and it's hard. Back in high school, they went to the playoffs, I believe, 3 years. Not 3 years in a row. I think they made the playoffs, took a year off, then went 2 in a row. Never did anything in the playoffs, but they were there. They were fun to watch. Most of those guys on that roster are still here in the MLB. Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier, Chapman, those guys. So they had talent. They traded them, got rid of them, and now they're rebuilding. Scooter Gennett, he's having a good year. He'll get traded here probably before the playoffs to make somebody before the All-Star break to make somebody a better team. But I don't know. I went over my 15 seconds, but I could be done, so no worries.
A couple of those playoff series they played in were heartbreakers. I mean, you had the Roy Halladay no-hits in 2010, and then in 2012 they were up 2-0 on the Giants, and they won the first 2 in San Francisco to go up 2-0, then played 3 straight at home and lost all 3. And I remember Game 5 so vividly because it was like a tie game. In about the 5th inning, and Buster Posey hit a grand slam, and that just kind of took the wind out of the sails.
Heartbreaking. There was I don't know exactly what it was, but there was 2 outs in an inning, and Jay Bruce misplayed a high pop in right field. Right. Guys ran. They scored 2 that inning. That they could have won that game, but yeah, they went back to Cincinnati, got swept, and my heart's been broken since.
Yeah. It gets better.
When?
I don't know, but it will get better.
Hopefully, within the next couple of years. I'd like to see him compete, let's say 5 years. Just competing again. Bringing up some of these draft picks, some of the prospects, but I don't know. We'll see.
Speaking of the poll you put out a few weeks ago, I don't remember when you did that. Who makes the playoffs first, the Reds or the White Sox? Do you remember the outcome?
You obviously didn't listen to last week's podcast.
I honestly did not.
It was 8 votes split down the middle, 4 apiece.
And I gotta admit something. Like I said, I'm a religious listener. I'm a sponsor of J-Man's Book of Prediction. I have 2 Twitter accounts, and so I always get 2 votes when it comes to these polls.
That's okay.
So without me, it would have been 4-2. But obviously, I voted twice for the Reds, which made it 4-4.
I will admit, I usually vote on the polls. I don't think I voted on that one though.
I believe I don't remember who I voted for.
Oh, and the Tebow one we did that week was like 80-some% to 20-some%.
2 of those are me again.
That will.
People love themselves some Timmy Tebow.
We do have a couple polls going on right now. I'll get to those when we talk basketball. But Yankees won today. First game of 2. They're playing doubleheader.
I was going to say, why'd they play during the day?
They won 7-4 over the Tigers. Luis Severino had 10 strikeouts, giving him 21 straight road starts where he's had at least 6 strikeouts, becoming one of 3 guys in MLB history to ever do that.
Yes, I can.
Oh, shoot.
We talked about it earlier.
I should have let you.
You were here before me.
Pedro and Randy, the big unit Johnson. So pretty good company to be a part of. Gleyber Torres hit another home run today. Thank you, Josh. And yeah.
Thank you, Yankees.
It's all right. Yeah, you got a championship. You're welcome. You're welcome. But I don't know where I'm going with that.
I'm going to stop you right there. Somebody said, I was just on Twitter this whole conversation, who would you have rather traded for, Aroldis Chapman and given up Gleyber Torres, or trade for Andrew Miller and given up Schwarber and Javi Baez? Which one are you taking? I'd take both Javi and Schwarber over Torres right now. So
yeah,
kind of an interesting
you would right now.
dynamic.
Yeah, but they got one more tonight. Then they got 2-game road set at Toronto, and then they play the Mets in the Subway Series this weekend. So really interesting week.
The Mets are getting Frazier back, but I don't really know what's wrong with Cespedes. I haven't really been. And Syndergaard's hurt. Forgot about that one.
So Austin Romine continuing his tear. He had a 3-run homer today. I think last time I knew his hitting streak's 12 or 13 games.
It's pretty good for a bench guy.
I actually honestly forget he's on the team sometimes.
He's had a lot better start to the year than Gary Sanchez has.
Yep, Gary either hits a home run or doesn't do anything. But most of the guys are still hitting home runs. Judge and Stan, they're striking out a lot, but they're hitting balls far when they connect. So still fun to watch. Still in good position.
You can deal with the strikeouts when they're hitting just tanks like they do.
Still in good position. NL team, the Rockies, bad week.
We're talking about the Rockies every week now.
No, I'm just talking about them right now.
He's wearing the T-shirt. He has to.
You are wearing the T-shirt.
So got swept by the Dodgers. And so they continue with an awful home record, but yet a good road record. It's really weird.
That is weird.
They're just not hitting well at home. It's really, really weird.
That's the weirdest part of it.
It is. I listen to a lot of Denver sports radio, and nobody can pinpoint it. I don't know. They play the Reds.
The Diamondbacks
Then the Diamondbacks
have really had a chance to pull away with this thing. They haven't, and I hate it because the Dodgers are going to end up winning that division, and it's not going to be fun come October because they've just kind of hung around. But now Kershaw is back on the DL after making one start. They said his fastball did not reach 90 mile an hour his whole. I don't know how many fastballs he threw, which obviously isn't good.
And while we're talking about pitchers, how about Waka being close yet again to a no-hitter and getting it taken away from him?
Yeah. I really don't know.
Still a good game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Bad luck, I guess.
Michael Waka had been really bad here the past few years, but he's had a really good start to the year. I remember the first close one. I forget who was playing second. I want to say it was Peter Kozma. Tried to make an unbelievable barehanded play, and he couldn't do it. And of course, the terrible best fans in baseball, St. Louis Cardinal fans, sent Pete Kozma death threats because he didn't make an impossible play. I hate Cardinal fans.
Who's worse, Cubs fan base or Cardinals fan base?
There's nothing,
from a Reds fan.
There's nothing worse than Chicago. But the St. Louis fans suck too.
Cardinals fans are the worst. They're worse than Indiana Hoosier basketball fans.
Wow.
That's bold, but I like
and
it.
Notre Dame football fans. Since you called the Cubs out, I got to throw it back at you.
So poor Joel Burris, who likes the Cardinals, Notre Dame football, Indiana basketball, Dallas Cowboys, and the Lakers.
I don't think I've
Joel?
ever had the pleasure of meeting Joel. I'm sure I have.
Nice guy. Good guy. Real good guy.
And I'm sure he is, but
I don't like his sports team.
Just knowing that about him,
Sorry, Joel. Sorry.
I don't know if I could be friends with him.
But that's like what Sobel said earlier. It's great to have enemies.
It is.
Yeah, you have
frenemies.
I watch Notre Dame football and Indiana basketball all the time to root against them.
I was going to say,
I
not
watch
to cheer
Tiger
for
Woods
them.
to root against them.
Who?
Tiger?
Why?
I'm not a Tiger fan.
Anymore or ever?
Never have been.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I got a baseball question for you guys.
Do it.
So I got a couple of followers that I love on Twitter. This one, he actually works for the Sports Action Network, just like Jason Sobel. This guy's name is @Stucky2. He's a big-time sports bettor, an old financial advisor who left his job only to be a sports bettor. So he's a sports guru. Anyway, so his question, he went live the other night. His question was...
I saw you retweet the thing.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it.
Good. So his question was, age and injury are factors. No cap space. So no cap space, age and injury are factors. What is your dream team right now for the next 3 years in the MLB? One player each position. I'm going to announce his team, and I know we don't have all night, but I want you guys to do it off the top of your head. If you can name a player at each position, that'd be on your team. His player, or we can just...
That's going to be a tough one.
Or you can criticize his team. The reason I brought it up is because there's not one Cub on here, and there's not one Yankee on here.
That's fine.
And I want to hear you both. So his catcher was Buster Posey.
That's fair.
His first baseman was Freeman.
It's fair.
Second baseman, Altuve.
It's fair.
Shortstop, Lindor.
Fair.
Third baseman, turn around.
I love Arenado as much as anyone, but Chris Bryant's better.
His reasoning was Bryant doesn't sniff Arenado's defense.
He doesn't. That's fair. I will stop you. Arenado is not the best defensive third baseman in baseball anymore. It's by a guy you guys have probably never heard of, Matt Chapman. Oakland Athletics.
I say you had me stumped. His outfield, this is where I started to disagree with him. Trout in center, which is fine.
That's fine.
Betts in right.
That's fair.
So we're keeping Harper off, though?
That's a
But
tough
Betts
one.
is a stud.
Yeah.
And his left fielder was Gordon.
Alex Gordon?
He said he's the best defensive outfielder in the league.
You
Alex
gotta
Gordon?
be kidding me.
That's serious.
That's really the only one I disagree with.
I mean, I don't even know that much about baseball. No,
That's why I don't either.
He is a good defensive left fielder, but the dude hasn't hit in 4 years.
I had this son of a bitch on fantasy team years ago. And he softball.
He doesn't hit. He's great defensively. I'll give him that.
He said he could have went with who's the giant out in New York?
Giancarlo or Judge? Aaron Judge.
Judge. He goes.
Both big giants.
Well, that's true. He goes.
I would have taken any of them.
He goes.
Both of them over.
He
him
doesn't
by
need
a wide margin.
No DH on his list?
No DH on his list. He doesn't need Trout and Betts getting on, then Judge striking out every at bat. That was his reasoning for that. But the pitcher, he mentioned he gave Seb some love, but his pitcher was DeGrom, was who he'd pick right now for next year.
He's filthy. I would probably take Scherzer right now.
Yeah.
Heck, you can't take it in 3 years. But I say, how about Verlander? But in 3 years, he won't be there. But you can't. Just
Maybe
regard what he's doing now.
Garrett Cole with Houston. He's really good as well.
That whole pitching staff, man.
Oh yeah, it's
Keiko's as
filthy.
a fourth. What the heck?
He's like been their fifth best. And he just won a Cy Young a few years ago.
Before this year, my obvious answer I think would have been Kershaw, but with injury being a factor, you can't even.
Does he have a
sniff him.
closer on there?
There was no closer, just those nine right there.
Okay, I got you.
So I
Interesting list.
I thought
That's
it was
a fair
interesting.
list
I wouldn't be
besides
able to do
Alex
mine.
Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon. I don't know.
Gordon.
Every other one's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're playing with those 8 other guys, I guess you can hide Gordon out there in left field. You can hide me.
He just went right, center, and left. He didn't just
That's all it
take
was.
three outfielders.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was.
That's pretty fair.
Because I honestly can't really think of a guy who just plays left field that.
No.
You know,
Well, Judge. I mean, is he only left or?
is
Plays
he
right.
Oh, right.
So
Giancarlo's
Giancarlo plays left. I
But then when there's some days they DH Giancarlo
Yeah.
and you switch, they have Hicks out there or.
Do you know who it would
Gardner.
not be? Adam Duvall. Anyone on Cincinnati?
I did watch. I was actually watching live. I just was in the hotel. I don't know why we went back to the hotel, but I was watching the Reds and Diamondbacks the other day. Reds were down 4-0, and Adam Duvall hit a grand slam to tie it off of a very good pitcher in Patrick Corbin.
They did win one against Arizona.
That is an interesting list, though.
I thought it was interesting, just because I just wanted to bring it up. There's no Cubs on there, no Yankees on there.
I thought you retweeted something by him about the Cubs. It seems like he.
Oh, he hates Javi Baez too. So maybe my hate comes from him. Maybe I have a man crush on this guy. I don't know, but I just all these guys do on the Sports Action Network. All they do is tweet about sports betting, and I don't know what's better than either of those.
I forget which ESPN guy. It was Ryan Spielborgs, who works for the Rockies. He's played for the Rockies. He did a podcast with some ESPN guy, and the ESPN guy said how the Cubs are not lovable anymore. People are starting to hate them. It was after the Anthony Rizzo slide against Pittsburgh.
And that's what I retweeted. That's what you probably saw.
Yeah, which that play, sure, it was illegal. Was it dirty? No. Anthony Rizzo's not a dirty player.
I don't think they're. I still think they're probably the most lovable team in America. If not, they're up there. But they're probably not as popular as they were a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
People love the underdog, and now that the Cubs have been good for their 4th straight year,
Wanna move on to the
kind of
next.
like the Golden State Warriors.
Sick of them.
They just sucked for years. Now everyone's sick of
Sick of
them
'em.
because they're so good.
All of the Cubs bandwagon fans went away. I'm not went away, but you don't hear about them anymore
And
because the Cubs are good.
I hated the
And,
bandwagon.
I mean, you got diehards like Josh and
I agree.
his whole family and some others around Rochester. But
Camo.
Camo and his whole Screeton family. But there were so many bandwagoners. It's like, name me 5 players.
Yeah.
like, get out of here. But that happens with every sport.
Do you watch
Name me their best player in 2011. I'll give you some prop. I honestly don't think I can name one. It sucked. It's probably Soriano.
Terrio?
No, it was Ryan the Riot Terrio.
Oh gosh, no, these Cubs are actually likable, and that's coming from me. It was the Zambranos. I couldn't stand those guys.
Those teams weren't likable, even though they were good. I didn't necessarily like them. Like, they weren't just a lovable group. Now this team, after all this stuff came out, did you see Joe Madden on Saturday? He was mic'd up during their 14-inning game, and in the 14th inning, Anthony Rizzo was due to lead off, and Madden told him, if you hit a homer here, you can pitch. and Rizzo's going, you serious?
Did he strike out swinging for the fences?
Yeah, he flew up to like fairly deep right. And I'm thinking off the bat it looked good, but he hit it too high, and then he obviously didn't get a pitch, and they ended up winning that game. But even though Joe Madden about cost in that game was some tomfoolery early.
Oh yeah, you don't like Madden right now.
I honestly am not the biggest fan of his in-game stuff, which honestly 90% of being a baseball manager is setting and winning culture and creating a good clubhouse, and he's done that. I mean, he's phenomenal at that, but in-game he leaves much to be desired. But they're winning.
Speaking of costing teams games, how about J.R. Smith, Game 1 of the NBA Finals?
J.R. Smith. Dude. Yeah. I don't want this to sound bad, but JR just looks dumb.
Yeah.
Like he's got a dumb face, and he's proven to do dumb stuff over the course of his decade-long career, or however long he's been in.
The Warriors beat
basketball. Cleveland
Game 1, 124 to 114 overtime, despite LeBron having 51 points. I don't know what else he could have done. And he played good last night. Had 29.
You know what he could have done is not run off all his good teammates at the in February.
Yeah, but played pretty good again last night.
In the
And he just doesn't have enough help. Warriors won pretty easily. Warriors are 2-stacked. This series is over. Even though it's 2 games up, 2 games 0. It would have been interesting if Cleveland got Game 1. That might have changed the whole thing.
This will be the J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week, sponsored by the guy sitting on my left.
Dano, hold it a minute. I want to book this one.
Golden State will sweep that series. It is over. Over.
That just took away my next comment, because I was about to say Cavs will probably win 1, but
well,
I'm not going to go against the
I've been
book it.
saying Golden State in 6, but I don't know how the Cavs can get 2. I don't know if they'll get 1.
I honestly expect them to get a home game, but I have to be bold.
You're bold. I didn't do a bucket, by the way, last week.
You didn't? That's disappointing.
I couldn't think of anything.
Did you do a birdie bogey?
Didn't do that either. We took the week off.
I was going to text Connor a question, then I kind of forgot about it.
I kind of took the week off, and yeah.
I've watched every NBA. I've watched both of these championship. They were both the championship games, and someone said this on Twitter, and I'm not going to be that guy, but I am going to make a comment. You can't blame refs because it is the Warriors. They are the better team, but they were horrible last night. They were horrible.
And I still go back to Game 1. I cannot believe, even though I do think it was a block, I think it was a block because his foot was up in there. I cannot believe they changed that call, especially against LeBron James.
Yeah, there was one last night where Steph Curry shot it with his left hand and he airballed it, but they thought that it was so bad with three.
But
they called it out of bounds.
They called it out of bounds, and he was the last one to touch it. That's horrendous.
And there was 3 of them where LeBron's like, because LeBron usually gets his calls, but I just thought they've been horrible this whole entire series.
I honestly started thinking Game 7 of Houston Golden State, I thought Houston got hosed. I kind of thought it might be fixed. There was parts of the game I thought might be fixed.
Every single year we sit here and say,
I know.
It's got to be fixed. It has to be.
I hadn't seen anything worse since the Sacramento Lakers series in the early 2000s than that one.
It's all conspiracy. Yeah. You have me convinced. The whole world's a conspiracy.
Okay, so
Golden State is turning into my least favorite dynasty of all time. Just do. It's mainly just because of one guy, and that's Draymond.
I don't like Draymond. I don't like Durant.
I don't think his teammates like Draymond.
Clay doesn't bother me. Steph, he doesn't bother me either, really, to be honest. But Draymond definitely does. Always has since Michigan State, and Durant ever since he left OKC has been a douchebag.
Yeah, Clay's the only one I like. I'm probably in the minority here. No one likes Draymond. Durant is a snake. I do not like Steph Curry. Clay doesn't bother me, though. But I do not like this team. I'm wearing my King James shirt right now. I'm not a LeBron fan, but I would take LeBron over these Warriors any single day of the week.
I'd take LeBron over any player in the league.
In the past 20 years, I'd take him over.
Yeah, he's something else, which leads me to... I got 2 Twitter poll questions on the Tan and J-Man Twitter account. Got them running the next few days. You can answer. Got one going from last night. Will King James be a Cavalier next year?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to get 2 no's. The Wada Boy is going to say no, and so is my Travis Wottring Farm Bureau page. 2 no's coming your way.
2 no's.
And so far,
I don't think I voted on that one.
30 votes. 93% say no.
If I was handicapping who was going to be the team he plays for. It's Philadelphia.
100% agree.
You can book that.
Yeah,
one.
I've been saying that for a while. Watch out for Houston if he wants to leave the East.
Why? Why leave the East?
I know why would you, but
It's
if he wants to.
dangerous out there.
But the East is going to be really good in about 2 years. I mean, really good, I think.
I can see him teaming up with those two young guns out in
And
Philly.
then that would open, yeah.
That'll be so dangerous.
If he did leave the East, that opens it up for Boston and Philly.
Yeah.
But I also got another one. We'll be talking some golf here in a little bit. This actually comes from Andrew Eiler. I kind of stole his question, made a poll of it. What will be the bigger number from here on out in their careers? Will it be the number of championships LeBron wins or the number of golf tournaments Tiger Woods wins?
I think it all comes down to who LeBron's playing for next. Because if he stays in Cleveland, I think maybe
LeBron's
Tiger
33,
wins.
Tiger's 41
Tiger has a lot more opportunities to win tournaments than LeBron does championships, of course. I would probably put it Tiger would have more.
This has 10 votes so far, 6 votes Tiger, 4 LeBron.
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't seen either of the polls yet. I'll get on there. I don't know. You said, Tiger obviously has more opportunities to win, but unless LeBron does go to Philly, that'd be dangerous. I mean, they'd win some games.
My dad thinks he's going to L.A.
Lakers?
I can see that too.
But I haven't heard that too much lately, but I don't know.
If he were to go to the West, I would prefer BLA than being teamed with Harden and Paul or
Another super team.
Golden State like that.
Well, if he goes to LA though, you got to assume does Paul George join him? Then who else joins him?
I think Paul George
There's
is
another
definitely
super
be a
team
Laker.
coming.
Yeah, and your boy Russell's going to be stuck with nobody.
I love
Is
that
George
guy.
a free agent this year?
Yeah.
It was a 1 year, yeah.
Carmelo's still there.
He's stuck there. From what I read, that no one's going to pay him that
Who would
money.
pay him $22 million?
He's not coming off the bench.
There's no way he opts out, though.
an
No,
idiot.
he's stuck there.
Shot.
He's an overrated idiot.
I think Paul George had fun though with Westbrook. I don't know if that means he's going to stay, but I could see them making some more noise next year if they stayed together. But
You know, all this super team talk, I got to thinking the other day, we all thought it started with the big three in Boston with Pierce, Garnett, and Allen. We're forgetting about an older super team from the mid-2000s when the Lakers not only had Shaq and Kobe, but they grabbed Karl Malone and Gary Payton, even though it was for 1 year and it backfired big time, losing to the Pistons, going for their 4P. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I completely forgot about that team until the other day. That was kind of the start of the super team.
And what it was, not what it was, but there was less social media back then.
Yeah.
That plays a big
Yeah,
factor.
think
in
about
it
that now if you had all four of those guys on the same team.
Yeah.
Would've blew
Oh yeah,
up.
they'd be getting ridiculed and
Even the big three in Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, more than they did. But, of course, when LeBron went down to Miami, social media was already off and pumping.
the next big three is Oladipo, Stevenson, and Miles Turner.
I hope you're right. But, honestly, if they want to go get some names of free agency, a guy like Miles might have to go.
And I would be okay with that. Someone like they'll never get like a superstar like Anthony Davis or something. But
There's three good names that Indy Star
who?
said. Marc Gasol,
Eric Gordon.
Kawhi Leonard, or Kemba Walker.
Right.
But to get any of them, you're going to have to give up some pieces.
Yeah.
And I'd probably take Marc Gasol, then Kawhi, then Kemba, because Kawhi's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Kemba's too much like some of the other guards they have, I think. A little better, besides Oladipo. But then Gasol, I think, would be a good
I haven't
post.
been on here since the NBA started, I don't think.
No,
and
I think you have.
the Pacers had a hell of a season from what we expected, from what Vegas expected. Pacers hit their over on the numbers.
Easily. Easily.
They hit it at the All-Star break. First team to hit it.
I didn't think they were going to get 30 wins this year.
No, and so Pacers had a great year, a lot better than I expected. So they took Cleveland to 7 games, and they'll be fine next year. Not saying they'll win the East, but they're here to compete now for a while.
That's what I'm interested to see. Now next year, there is expectations now going forward, and Oladipo's the man, but he needs some help. They got to put some help. Can they replicate as good of a season when there's expectations, unlike this year when there weren't?
It was kind of the same thing with
I don't
Paul
know.
George. He always needed the help, and they never really gave it
even
to
if they
him.
can, I mean, LeBron's just their nemesis. I mean, they just can't get past him. And what's it going to take for them to take that next step to get up there? Okay, even if LeBron leaves to the West, you got Boston and Philly. What's it going to take for Indiana to get up there? Because they're not looked at as a perimeter Eastern Conference contender. They're just not.
It would take a Kawhi Leonard or a
Yeah.
Gasol, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, stars don't want to come to Indianapolis, even in football. Peyton helped get some guys there. Andrew Luck hasn't really been able to, except he's been hurt for a while. I don't know. It's interesting.
You're going to have to draft them.
Yeah.
Back when the Colts were one of the best teams in the NFL, it was they drafted Wayne, they drafted Clark, they drafted Saturday. I mean, they drafted all those guys, and that's what Indiana has to do, because you said it best. No one wants to come play for Indiana. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Maybe unless it's an Indiana grown boy like Depot. But other than that, they're going to have to draft it. I think they have the 12th, 13th pick this year. So maybe they'll get a star. Maybe it won't be a big name, but those guys they turn into stars when they just keep growing in the league and getting better and better. So we'll see. Like I said, I was happy with Indiana, but they have to have more help to compete with this Boston team right now or next year's Boston team when they're healthy.
I have some NBA news that I just read on the Twitter. The Detroit Pistons have narrowed their search and are having ongoing discussions for a head coaching job with Dwayne Casey and John Beilein. For all of us,
the Big Ten.
all of us in the Big Ten, Beilein, the best coach in the Big Ten, really by a wide margin, in my opinion. He's just phenomenal. It'd be great if he went and took that.
Can we get Tommy down to Orlando too? Get them
Detroit
both out.
Stones. I just don't
too
see
much.
Tommy leaving for
No,
some
I don't
reason.
either. What a snake.
He is a snake.
He is.
But speaking of Big Ten, I know we're not even close to Big Ten basketball, but we all love college basketball.
How many days till March Madness? You said it earlier. 298 or something?
43 minutes ago, it was 284 days, 17 hours, 44 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Till March Madness.
But it was released last week. The ACC Big Ten Challenge matchups are released.
Yes.
Your Illini at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
In South Bend, Indiana.
They played quite a bit, maybe just once lately.
Yeah, they played, I want to say it was 2015 they played in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Illinois was up 8 in that game and ended up losing by 19 or something stupid like that. But yeah, they go up to South Bend. Both teams will be very, very young and inexperienced. Illinois has potential to be the youngest team in college basketball next year, even younger than they were last year.
Oh, God, help us all.
Yeah, so that'll be my excuse next year. But in seriousness, their non-con is loaded. They have to go play in the Maui, which is loaded with Arizona and Duke and Gonzaga, I want to say, isn't it? Iowa State, Auburn. And then they have UNLV in United Center. It might be at home, actually. They have to play Missouri, who should take a step back. And now they have to go to Notre Dame, so it's loaded. I like that. They won't win a whole lot, but gotta have some rigor in the non-con. So
Ohio State is going to be playing Syracuse. I'm pretty sure that's in Columbus.
Last year, right about this time, we had John for the first time because Thad Matta resigned or was let go.
Yes.
And that, man, speaking of just like the Pacers, Ohio State had a
really
really good year.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that. I'm pretty sure they were projected bottom 3 in the Big Ten before the year started, and Bates Diop came out gun blazing. The boys followed him, and they had a really good year. Next year, we'll see what happens.
C.J. Walker.
They have a couple good some transfers, some recruits
grad
coming.
transfer?
No.
So 2 years. No.
Got sit out.
So he'll be sitting out, but they've been signing a couple juniors. So the next year, again, I don't know. But the year after that, really excited to see what happens with Ohio State.
Syracuse is ranked by Myron Metcalf's preseason 16th.
No, of course they
So
are.
just to be
At Columbus, we'll see. But again, I don't know what to expect this year. They had a really good year. They lost 4 really good seniors. So we'll see where they finish up. 2 years, though, and I think they'll start competing again for a Big Ten run.
Purdue got their matchup at Florida State. Florida State's actually ranked 18th in the Myron Metcalf's preseason poll, even though they lost C.J. Walker. They're just freak athletes, so that makes me worried right away. But Purdue did get some good news on the basketball front. Nogel Eastern and Carson Boogie Edwards both coming back.
Was Nogel even really a question?
No, it wasn't. He waited till the last day, but no, he wasn't. Carson announced the night before. Yeah. Actually, Matt Painter announced it at a John Purdue Club event. It was kind of cool how he did it. Thank God they're both back, especially Carson. I think he's going to have the ball in his hands more than any Purdue player has since Glenn Robinson next year.
Over under 22.5 points per game next year. Right.
I would say about right at it.
Right about that.
I
That's what I was
think
thinking too.
he's will probably be preseason Big Ten Player of the Year. He'll probably be preseason first-team All-American. I mean, he was a first-team All-American this year, and the offense didn't even go through him. So we'll see.
It's not very often a first-team All-American comes back next year.
I still think Purdue will be good. I don't think they'll be as good, but I think they can be borderline top 25 going into the season. But they're at Florida State, which is on top of they're at Texas next year. They play Notre Dame in the Crossroads. And then they also play in the Charleston Classic with Wichita State, Alabama, I believe, and a few other good programs. The one bone I want to pick with this, Michigan State goes to Louisville. Michigan and North Carolina play. Big Ten's returning everybody except Herter left from Maryland. He jumped pro. He stayed in the draft, which kind of surprised me. And you were saying they have him in the 20s.
Yeah, I was
unbelievable.
I think it was Jeff Goodman tweeted out that a lot of scouts have him ranked as like their 22nd best player. I mean, scouts don't scout the stat line, which you shouldn't. You should see measurables and all that. Mm-hmm. He had a pretty good year, but he wasn't a guy that you really think of being a first-round pick. But they know more than I do.
But the one matchup, and then we'll move on and start wrapping this thing up. The one matchup I got a bone pick with is a rematch from last year, but a different venue. They stuck the Indiana Hoosiers against the Duke Blue Devils, who Duke is going to be ranked 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Indiana just play in
a couple of years
Duke,
ago
like
when Blackman was on the team?
Yeah,
about 3 or 4 years ago.
So
they played in Duke. So now they played Duke at home last year. It's either 3 out of the last 4 or 3 out of the last 5 years. Same matchup. It's a Romeo Langford effect. That has to be. Has to be. Because Indiana is not what they think they are, not what they were at one time. Maybe they'll get there eventually, but right now they're not. They didn't even make the damn tournament last year.
I'm going to book something right now. They lose that game by more than 25 points. Zion Williamson, Trey Jones, Cameron Reddish.
They have like 6 of the top 12 players.
10, yeah.
So, although I think Indiana will be better and probably make the tournament next year,
they ain't ready for
this
that.
matchup.
They're not ready for that.
This matchup. So
no offense,
sorry,
Indiana.
No, I don't like Indiana. The one thing that would maybe change that if they were playing at Bloomington.
Yeah.
It's hard to play at Assembly, but they'd still be a double-digit loss.
Yeah. I just don't understand it. Why? I wish, and we'll never know, because I wish the Big Ten and AC would come out and here's the criteria we use for these matchups.
It's all about money. I think, honestly, ESPN sets those matchups more than the Big Ten and ACC do because they're all on ESPN family networks.
Money, whatever.
Indiana and Duke will bring in the ratings.
I'm not saying I wanted Purdue to go to Cameron Indoor because they would got their doors blown off. They're not ready for that. But, I mean, Austin Faust was getting on me on Twitter. Purdue always gets the easy matchups. I said, I want the big boy matchups, though. I want the name recognition. I don't want the always middle of the pack ACC teams.
Why does it seem like Purdue always plays the teams that aren't?
They have 10 wins now in ACC Big Ten, which is the most of any Big Ten team ever. Now, Illinois is 8, Wisconsin 9.
But why does it seem like Purdue
I don't know.
never plays the Dukes and Carolinas?
They played Duke once,
and
we were at that game in 08.
They did play. They have played Louisville
back-to-back years, but they have never played Carolina in it.
Illinois played Carolina at least 3 times.
Ohio State's played them.
Virginia's thinking the same thing. They're never getting the big matchups.
Yeah. They're pretty similar.
They had Ohio State last year, and Ohio State played them good in the first half. Virginia,
but I mean, you got to think Virginia's always like
top
3 in AC, and they're not getting the Michigan States or the even Purdue or I don't know. It's just I think Virginia did maybe get Maryland this year, because Virginia's preseason ranked number 7. So
I think they return about everyone.
Yep. Yeah, here's the matchups. You got Georgia Tech, Northwestern. They match up like every year. Indiana, Duke, North Carolina, Michigan, Nebraska, Clemson. Clemson's supposed to be good. Rutgers, Miami, Michigan State, Louisville, Illinois, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Virginia, Maryland, NC State, Wisconsin, Purdue, Florida State. And so the only team is Wake Forest is not playing.
Tony Carr came back for Penn State?
No.
So he's gone.
Sorry, I forgot about him. That was early. Saunders out.
Oh, Saunders.
Corey Sanders.
Oh, right.
And Michigan State had JJJ and Miles Bridges.
So Ethan Happ back?
Yes.
Tyler Cook back?
Yes, I believe so.
There were rumors floating around that Tyler Cook was going to transfer.
Happ was told late second round, so he came back. I was hoping he'd leave.
He needs to develop an outside shot if he wants to play in today's NBA.
Even a shot from the free throw line.
Right.
But any other Big Ten basketball notes
Oh, man.
you can think of? Recruiting's going on hot and heavy, but I got nothing
I have nothing
to
on that
report
either.
for commits.
It's still far away, but
Yep.
as you said earlier, we love college basketball, and 200 and something days,
Yep.
we'll be back.
Yep.
You'll be back. I'll be listening.
Yeah. And college football will be here before we know it, really.
Go Irish.
Oh, God.
I can't wrap my head around any football right now.
My mind's always on football.
Well, you guys are talking all this college basketball stuff, and I love Ohio State and college basketball. As the next guy, I'm just like, wow, this is so
I
far
know,
away
I
still.
know.
I know, it's so
relevant
far
stuff
away.
that's happening.
So I apologize for sounding clueless on that for the Buckeyes, but
all the stuff that's happening.
come back later.
All right, Trev. I think we did this with you last time. I want to do it again.
Perfect.
We'll wrap this up with some rapid fire questions.
Perfect.
But before we do that, I promised Andrew, our good buddy, that I'd talk about the MLB draft that's going tonight. It just started. Reds picked fifth. Andrew's a big Reds fan. I asked him who he wanted. He said if Casey Mize, who is a right-handed pitcher for Auburn, does not fall there, which it sounds like he's going to fall a little bit, but probably not to 5. He went to Jared Kalenic, who is a left-handed hitting outfielder from Wisconsin. Casey Mize was the guy that was projected to be number 1 overall for really the past few weeks, but the last few mocks I've seen have the Tigers taken Joey Bart from Georgia Tech. He's a catcher, but who knows? It's probably already been selected. I don't even know what's happened yet. As for the Cubs, the past few years they've been pitcher heavy, but it sounds like they're going to go more towards the bats this year. So MLB draft. Love it.
I got nothing again.
I got nothing. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to prospects. So, all right, Trev, you ready?
Let's do it.
You knew you answered this last time. I do not remember. We ask every guest this. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, and I'll answer again.
Thank you.
The hot dog's a hot dog.
Yep.
The answer's no.
Yep. Order of teams of your fandom that you want to win their championship.
Oh, gosh. Well, Cincinnati Reds would be number 1.
Okay.
They haven't won it since 1990. I was not born. Notre Dame would be number 2 just because they were close one year against Alabama, and then
They got
lost
to the
40.
game.
They weren't
It was
close.
close.
What was it, 44-7? I think they did score 1 touchdown. So Notre Dame would be 2.
We'll blame Monte Teo's fake girlfriend for
Right.
that.
No, you could. There's.
Rest in peace, Linnea Kekua.
It wasn't there. Yeah, that's funny. Ha! Keep fist bumping. Go Irish. So Cincinnati, Notre Dame, the Colts. I've got to see. I think it'd be great to see the Pacers. They've been close multiple times. For them to win one here soon, it'd be hopefully to beat LeBron James, and that would be awesome.
That would be huge.
That would be fun.
That would be unbelievable, really.
The Colts would be last, like I said, just because I've already seen them. So Ohio State, they've been close in my lifetime. They lost 06-07 to that loaded Florida team.
Back-to-back champs. For them.
So there's the order, yeah. So Cincinnati, Notre Dame. Who did I just say? Ohio State, and then the Colts. Oh, the Pacers, Colts, yeah. So Cincinnati, Notre Dame are my top 2. Let's put it that way.
Favorite current athlete?
Current athlete.
Javi Baez.
Yeah, close. Not someone on my favorite team. I said this one last time. It would be I love Bryce Harper.
You're not going to be liking him here in a few months when he's a Cub.
When he's at Chicago? Yeah, I know. That's going to be interesting. I do see that happening, by the way.
You do?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be dangerous.
Favorite sports broadcaster during games to listen to?
It is, I say my favorite, and I can't even think of his name. Is it Marv Alberts? See the NBA? He's like the original NBA guy.
He's really good.
I freaking love him. Today, I mean, you have Reggie Miller annoys me. Chris Webber annoys me. All these new guys, all these ex-players annoy me. But then there's Marv Alberts. He's that voice that you've been hearing since you were 5 years old. Cheering, me personally, you hate him. Cheering for Reggie Miller back in the day. He's one of my favorites in the NBA. He's just that original voice that I love.
Who's your favorite, T-Dog?
My favorite broadcaster? That's a good question because I don't like more than I like. I can name some I like in every sport, but Jim Nance. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
You like Jim Nance?
Yeah, I really like Nance. I think he does a good job in college basketball, golf, and NFL.
I don't like him in NFL. I think he's kind of boring.
Really?
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Now, I can tell you my least favorite in all sports, Johnny Miller.
Johnny Miller,
I
yeah.
hate that guy.
I thought about asking
NBC all
Sobel
the
about
time.
him to see what he'd say, but I figured.
Well, Sobel mentioned Brandel Chambly. He's one of my least favorites, too. So I about said something. I'm like, yeah, Terrence, let's just tone it down a little bit.
Let's let Sobel talk.
So, Johnny Miller, I can't stand him. And I tweet at NBC all the time, how do you still have this guy on contract?
I don't know if they're sportscasters, but there's a couple of guys who have their show that I can't stand.
Oh, Talking Heads. There's some awful ones.
Skip.
Yeah, he's a given. Skip and Stephen A.
Stephen
are
A.
both of them.
Jim Rome.
I don't like Jim.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
I don't
gosh.
either.
Yeah, so I like. I dislike more than who I like. I
don't like
guess.
Levitard.
No,
That was hard.
nope.
Even like indie media. Dan Dockage is okay for me. JMV's okay.
You hate Dockage. Don't
There's
you?
two sides of Dockage.
Yeah.
There's broadcasting Dockage and Twitter Dockage,
Yeah.
and I like one, I don't like
Yeah.
one. One of them has to be blocked. I say the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
Twitter Dockage is a douche. I don't like him.
That's the one that has to be blocked on Twitter.
I listen to a lot of Denver sports radio, so I got my favorites and my least favorites out there too. But any good podcast you listen to, of course, besides the Tan and J-Man show.
Oh, me? It's called The Gin and Juice. It was who I mentioned earlier, Stuckey. He does one on the Sports Action Network. He hasn't done it in a while. He does it twice a week, though, during college football season. Him and a guy named Colin Wilson. These are the only two that I actually listen to. I'll occasionally listen to Pat McAfee, but I'm not religious enough with that. But these two, or this one and the Gin and Juice, I listen to weekly when they're on.
We appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I got nothing.
Got nothing? I'm trying to think of like one more.
End it on a good
Yeah,
one.
I'm trying to end it. Who's the better golfer, you or your brother Nate?
Here, ask me one more and I'll pull up our handicap. So
Okay.
we'll see. Nate and I personally think we're the same. He's an 8.9. I'm a 9.2. So I guess he's a stroke better, but I think I'll beat him on a given day and he'll beat me on a given day.
I saw him out on the course this week, but unfortunately I didn't get to see him swing, so I've never seen him swing. I've seen you. I've played with you in scrambles. You're sweet lefty swing. So.
At least I think it's sweet.
Hey, it looks
Anyone listening that wants to partner up next year for that golf tournament, I want to come play.
Yeah.
I'll bring a partner from Indy if I have to, but I'd love to play with a local
good.
friend.
More easy money.
We'll have to get you down to Plum Creek and
Yeah,
play.
I like that. I like that. We need to. Anything else you want to plug before the end of the show? Any Twitter handles? Anything? I know you're a good personal Twitter follow, so.
If you want to follow my personal Twitter, it's @thewadaboy. I probably need to change that. I've had that since high school. That was my fun name. I could be boring to @Travis Wottring. I don't know. Follow that if you want to. My business Twitter is @TTW_IFBI. I'm trying to get more involved with social media on my business side, so be a pal, follow it, retweet it. It would be excellent. You can also find it on the Tan and J-Man show because they do some retweets and stuff when I post on there.
We also got a link to Travis's business Facebook page right on our website, the10jmanshow.com, so you can find it on there, where you can find all of Josh's bucket predictions of the week from this year. So one last question for you. U.S. Opens next weekend. We interviewed Jason Sobel. Who's your pick?
I'm going to go with Justin Rose.
Ooh, Rosie.
That
put him number one in the world.
That would. I like that. I think he's having a good year.
Second U.S. Open.
Back in 2004, when the course was here, he did not make the cut. And I think those golfers, at least I would personally, they have that in the back of their mind. I played horrible here last time. Let's come out and win. So right now, I would go with Justin Rose. But as Sobel said, ask me again in 10 days, and my answer might be different.
That's exactly why I'm waiting. I'll tell you who I think next Monday. So,
Yeah, exactly.
So, Travis, thanks for joining us.
Birdie bogey.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
He remembered.
He saved it.
I got you that time. Now I forget what the question was. LeBron James recorded his 8th 40-point game this postseason in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. What player did he tie for the NBA record?
You have any guesses?
I'm going to throw out a guess. I'm thinking 8th 40-point playoff game.
Wilt Chamberlain.
No.
I don't know.
Larry Bird.
Nah. The logo.
Jerry West.
Jerry West.
He also, I believe, passed or is really close to passing Jerry West for most all-time points.
There's a good chance if he keeps at it, he's going to pass Jabbar at the end, number one leading scorer, and he's got a real good chance of being the top 5 assists of all time.
Yeah, I saw that last night. I thought that was
such an
incredible,
underrated
too.
passer.
I
Nobody
agree.
talks about that about his game.
As much as he scores, as big as his name is, they said that about the assist last night, and my eyes were like,
Yeah,
whoa.
me too. I looked it up, and those other guys in assists didn't even score much.
Right.
So.
You guys need a new segment, Stump the Schwab or Stump the Mutt. I mean, his history on sports is stupid. It's ridiculous. I'm going to start thinking of some questions and posting them.
J-Man.
Yeah, we need a new hashtag with something.
Stump the beard.
If there you go. If somebody can tweet you guys a question and J-Man can't get it, then they should get something. I don't know.
Anytime anybody's got any sport questions, tweet it to us, text it to us, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place. We're gonna have tons of stuff coming here. We'll get this interview up. We'll get this podcast up. We'll get the interview with Jason Sobel up by the weekend. And J-Man, take it home.
That was the 81st edition of the Tan and J-Man Show, streaming on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio. Thanks to Trav, the J-Man Book and Prediction of the Week sponsor, for joining us tonight. Hope you have a great rest of the week. You can follow us on Twitter, at Tan and J-Man Show.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram, at The Tan and J-Man Show. Like us on Facebook. We appreciate that.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our website, tanandjmanshow.com. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Hope you tune in next Monday.
Cheers.